It's a Gym Teacher Dreams podcast. Sha la la la. We need to get back to our music there, Ray.
Maybe.
We
You
do
do
it.
that well, though. You
It
just
just
do that
take.
every time, and
I know it
boom.
takes too long. Forget about it. I apologize for being late, guys. We were grilling a little turkey and it was a little thick. Took a little longer than what it should. Yep. Any
1 week from today is the big turkey day. Why are you grilling turkey today?
because my wife's number is call her and ask her because that's what
Oh,
she
I have her
did for
number.
dinner. I know you do. Yeah, she's told me you've texted her drunkly a couple times here the last
What?
couple
Come
months.
on.
It's disgusting, man. I don't say anything, but stop. All right, with us today is Jake Winters. Most of you know him because he has partied in a after a Super Bowl championship. I'm sure you saw him there. People around, Sycamore, you know him, you love him. And welcome, Jake.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. It's been a long time coming.
It has been a long time coming. We talked about it at the beginning. Yes, it just hasn't worked out. Your agent was asking for more money. We finally got the contract
Right.
done, and here you are.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway, first off, how about the NBA draft? Anyone got any comments on that? How about
Um,
I was going to ask you guys.
I mean, for me, I feel like the first three picks were pretty. I felt like that was the way things were going to go. Um, but as far as the Bulls pick, I don't know if I've ever heard of. I honestly forgot his name right now. I've never heard of him until we drafted him, and then the fact that after we drafted him, the first thing that we were seeing was him delivering flowers to families was a little bit scary. I don't know if you guys had the same coverage that I did, but it was like this short minute clip of him and his family, how they have a flower delivery business or something like that. So I'm not too thrilled, but I'm wrong on that.
Well, does it's like kind of eerie in my opinion that here's a guy, they're drafting him for his ceiling rather than his whatchamacallit in college because couldn't even start at Florida State. He was a six man there.
Right.
It's kind of eerie to a little Mitchell Trubisky. You pick
Mm.
you got a guy who only started 1 year, couldn't beat some other guy that not in the NFL, and then you pick him very high, moved up to pick him. And so hopefully it's not the case, but that's the first thing I thought of when I heard him say Patrick Williams from Florida State.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then they took it, they need people right now. And then they took this guy, a foreigner that's supposed to be pretty good, but he ain't playing for at least a year because he's
Right.
so I don't know. Anything?
On the
Yeah.
ride home from work today, they said the second round dude, it was sort of a planned pick that way because they don't have any roster spots for him now. So, rather than make a move, you remember a couple years ago when they traded the draft spot to the Warriors for cash.
Mhm.
They didn't want to do something like that. It was sort of like a, pick him and maybe he comes in a couple years when we have room for him. But then the argument against that is, like you said, we need help now. To talk about those bottom three roster spots, he couldn't, take one of their spots. It's so I don't know. I don't follow it a great deal, but it's perplexing, or is that the right word? It makes you say, I guess, right?
Then the first overall pick is a kind of, I kind of like basketball. I kind of play it type of thing. So you pick and take the number one top pick for someone who almost sound like it's like a hobby for him, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I had it going Ball, Wiseman, him, and then that other dude, Danny or whatever, the guy from Israel, the youngest MVP ever in the Israel League.
Yeah, I would have liked for the Bulls to get him just because I think with the fourth draft pick, and honestly, with where the Bulls are at, we need a lot more than just a top five pick to really contend for anything. So it would have been nice, I guess, just to have the uncertainty of that guy, and he's proven overseas. So I don't know. I guess I was hoping for him. I think the Warriors of everybody, I felt like them drafting that Wiseman kid was probably the best pick in the first round to me, just for what they need.
Right.
I guess compared to what they already have. So I feel like he's got a pretty bright future ahead of him.
Just, with the college game cutting short, and I don't know, I wasn't that interested in college last year. Like I said, there were a lot of names. I'm like, last couple of years, I haven't followed college basketball as much as I used to. I was just, Ray, I know you're not going to believe this, but I was not aware of that AU and what's the name was it still, they were not in the draft. I had no idea. So when I found out that they are, I'm like, national championship, Illini. Add Miller and that other guard. Let's go.
Yeah.
If they get to play. If they get to play.
Well, that'd be our luck as an Illini fan, right? This
Yeah.
would be the year, and then they won't play.
Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, we are going once again to a fantasy draft using the NBA, former and current NBA players. All right. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to put them as superheroes. So, for example, we're going to say Superman. Which NBA player you think is closest to Superman, or is your Superman? And we'll go down. And once a person's picked, just like any fantasy league draft, they're gone. They're off the table. You can't get them. All right, and we'll go one person at a time. So we'll start with Superman and work our way down to Winter Soldier. Now, Jake, are you kind of a superhero guy? You're young enough to probably watch them enough to know kind of who they are.
Yeah, just looking at the list here, I would say the first half I'm pretty knowledgeable about. I'm not going to lie and say that I know all of them. I do have a couple tabs pulled up here, getting a little background research on a few
That's
of
what
the
I
names.
figured, yeah.
So I'm going to try my best to, I guess, work in some NBA players that I feel like are comparable, but I'm not going to lie and say that I'm an expert by any means.
Okay. And I know Ray was – someone needs to clean a fan. Ray doesn't watch any superhero stuff, so so he was a little nervous, and I just said, listen, he killed it in our baseball fantasy league draft. Last time we were together, we did baseball players and put them in law enforcement team because we had Detective Grubbs with us. So, and he killed it. So I'm not concerned at all. When he does his research, he's a bad dude.
It was like high school and college. When I did my homework, I did well.
So
just didn't always do it.
So a story my sisters tell is if you ever had the Family Feud game that you said you were going to have, but anyway,
right.
We for Heather's 40th birthday, they all came over and we went to a friend's house and I got a little drinky, and we were at the time with Genoa, and we would go out a little more with them and had a good time. And so I was drinking and I don't remember what was going on, and I made a comment to them. I said, listen, these people know that I'm a bad MFer. So from now that's been, Heather's getting close to 50. She's getting old. I don't want to say it, and she's not here, and she doesn't. Jake, don't worry about it. She doesn't listen, so she'll never know. I have my sister still say, "Ooh, but you're a bad MFer." So yeah, that's the story I'm sticking to.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, and chosen earlier in the draft lottery, the first selection is Jake with Superman.
Superman for me would have to be Michael Jordan.
Michael,
that was an easy one for me. I feel like I also don't really have to do a lot of explaining either, but that was a simple one for me. Is MJ.
All right.
I had to go with the GOAT.
Whoops. Whoops. Jeez. All right. Well, Michael Jordan was not not on my list for Superman, but he was down the road. I'll talk about it later. But anyway, all right, Ray, you got the second pick.
Right.
I think first
I
off,
like where Jake.
Just everyone knows who Superman is. As we get down there, I'll kind of talk about some of these guys a little more. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. This guy, really, he's probably a little bit lower on the list of people I would probably have as my basketball version of Superman, but this dude's like alter ego was Superman, right? He had the Superman tattoo, kind of referred to himself as Superman. I'm gonna go Shaq as my superhero Superman.
All right, Shaq Diesel. Yep, solid pick. All right, for my Superman, I went a little bit different for y'all. All right, my guy could fly, could jump over tall buildings. In the Olympics, jumped over a 7-footer. Still playing, and he's like 48 years old, almost as old as Heather, and that is Vince Carter.
Good one.
That's right. I forgot.
So Vince Carter it is. So there, first man, Superman. All right, Ray, you're going to start with the Dark Knight Batman.
Batman.
Yes.
Okay, here's where that whole research and just the things that go on in my brain comes into play. You may remember, this is a little bit before Jake's time, but Ryan, you remember what I call Batman was Adam West, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like it was natural to go with the NBA basketball or the NBA Batman as Jerry West.
I thought you were going to say, was it Deontay West?
I don't know him.
He was a bad dude. Bad dude. All right. So Jerry West is off. I see him more as Captain America, but that's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Okay.
No, and I gave consideration to Captain America because, he is the emblem, right? What
Right.
do they call him?
Right.
And the emblem in the NBA is red, white, and blue, right? So, I mean, there's certainly he could have been there, but just because of the whole West connection. And maybe a little known fact here, one of my college professors, James Cunningham, played college basketball with Jerry West. So during class, he would occasionally tell stories about playing basketball at West Virginia with Jerry West.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, my Batman or my Dark Knight is someone, he doesn't talk a lot, but he lets his play dictate and show who it was. I'm going with Kawhi Leonard for Batman. And it's Kawhi Leonard. All right. And Jake, your Batman.
So for me, whenever I'm thinking of Batman, I'm also thinking of Robin. So I was trying to think of duos.
Like it, yep.
And I don't know. This is a tough one for me. I'm going to go with Kevin Durant. Even though when he was in Golden State, I always felt like he was the Robin to Steph Curry, but I don't want to use Steph Curry for Batman. So I'm going to go with Kevin Durant for my Batman.
All right. Dang it. See how bad my typing is. All right. Spider-Man. My favorite character, by the way, when I was a youth. Favorite superhero. How about you, Jake? Yeah, did you have your favorite superhero now or then?
I feel like growing up, mine was Flash. Now I don't really pay much attention to superheroes, so I don't really have one now, but definitely Flash when I was growing up.
All right. Raymond?
Probably Hulk.
Okay. Hulk smash.
Just associate with him a little more than the others, I guess.
The IQ. But Bruce Banner is very smart. So maybe, anger? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep. He's kind of ugly. Got
Green?
a little mean streak, superhuman strength. I get green sometimes, you've heard stories.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's as far as I want to go. Next up is the Spider-Man. All right, so I have two guys here. One's old school, and one's older but still playing. I'll go with my guy. I used to love this guy. I think they even call him, guys who have long limbed, they call him Spidey-like, But I'm going with UNLV wing Stacey Augmon.
Very nice.
I don't know how quite. I think it's. Used to love that guy. All right, Jake, Superman or Spider-Man for you.
So I might be going a little bit of a different direction for you, but when we think of Spider-Man, we always think of the webs and the string coming out of his hands. For me, it would be Kyrie Irving, just because he's got the ball on a string.
I like that.
So mine's a little bit of a different angle than you.
And that's okay. That's what makes this so good. Kyrie. Oops. Is that how you spell Kyrie?
There you go. You got it.
Okay. All right. Ray, who's your Spider-Man?
For a second, I thought Jake and I were on the same wavelength because, think of Spider-Man, you think of webs. Well, for me, Spud Webb.
I was just
You
going to
know,
say,
it makes sense.
this is what he is. He's like a literal guy here,
Sometimes.
if you haven't noticed. All right. Now, this one, I'd like to see where everyone goes on this one. We're to the Hulk. So, Jake, you are the first guy for the Hulk. Where'd you go?
So this one for me was probably the easiest of the list. And you guys just said it a couple minutes ago was Hulk smash. So I'm thinking of aggression and anger. Obviously, somebody who's big. So for me, DeMarcus Cousins fits the bill of Hulk.
Okay. Little boogie.
Got that temper too.
Yep. DeMarcus Cousins. All right, Ray. Hulk.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that pick. I think as the list grows, you will see more of like an older spin on it, like my era. I think there's a heavy lean to, the 80s and 90s. This dude was, I would say, that big, strong dude breaking backboards, a lot of aggression. I'm going with Chocolate Thunder, Daryl Dawkins.
Yep, solid. Send it in, Jerome. But now, I went with this totally different way than you guys. So I start with, obviously, the good players, great players. But if you talk smack or you made some of these guys angry, you were in trouble. So my first pick was MJ for the Hulk, because if you talked a little trash to him or you got him going, he changed and he just got angry and took over. But my other guy is Kobe. So same thing. Kobe, when he got angry, you were in big trouble. So Kobe Bryant was my Hulk. All right, Doctor Strange. Ray, do you know Doctor Strange at all?
I mean, I did a little research. If you want to give me a little background, but it's not going to change my pick.
Right. He's the guy, he almost died. His doctor was very good. Hurt his hands badly. Could be a doctor, so somehow he got into his Doctor Strange character where he can stop time and teleport and all these really cool things. In one of the tournaments, we have a bunch of baseball players from Preston's team. We did the superhero tournament. Doctor Strange beat everyone. Superman, he was the winner of the tournament because he can stop time and he can do all those things. So, with that being said, who is your Doctor Strange?
Well, I went more literal, as you said, but even your definition kind of helps out here where you talk about teleporting and stopping time. Wouldn't you be a very effective rebounder if you could stop time and teleport? Your ball's ricocheting that way, and all of a sudden, boom, you're on the block over there. You got the rebound. But this dude, very strange. Dennis Rodman, he's my Doctor Strange.
All right. Well played. All right. I went with, once again, kind of a little bit different. Let's see, check my list. This guy, when the ball was in his hand, you never knew what was going to happen. Seemed like he stopped time. He saw things happen before it happened. Is my man, Mr. Magic Johnson. All right. Doctor Strange for you there, Jake.
So this was one that I had to do a little research on, and in my studies, I found that obviously he did get hurt and then came back as Doctor Strange. So for me, and I was just thinking of people who had suffered injuries and then came back. And for me, this one would be Sean Livingston because of that leg injury that he sustained, and then he was able to come back and win a couple championships.
Yep.
He hung. Is he still around? He hung for a long time after that injury. Yeah.
He might have just retired, maybe.
Yeah. I think this year, either he didn't retire or he not doing the COVID thing. All right, now this one is the one that I actually struggled the most on, is Black Panther, because once again he's very nimble, great leader of his people. So it took me some time to figure this one out, and what I ended up doing is I was down to two, and I went with the Dream, Hakeem Olajuwon. for me. All right, Jake, your Black Panther.
I am going with LeBron just because of that leadership characteristic that you talked about.
All right, LeBron.
He's stuck in there.
Did I miss him? I thought I felt like I had. Oh, okay, I had him as Thor. Dang it.
He was a honorable mention for Superman for me. I could see him as a Thor for sure. All right, for the Black Panther, again, my limited research, he sort of broke the color barrier for the DC superheroes. And so I thought, who broke the color barrier in the NBA? And I found out it was Earl Lloyd. Earl Lloyd is my Black Panther.
See, you do work, getting research done. All right, next up is Hawkeye. So Hawkeye is an excellent at the bow and the arrow and crossbow, and I'm sure we're probably all thinking who these guys are. Oh, maybe not, but Hawkeye. All right, who you got there, Jake?
So I got to represent my Blue Devils here. I'm going to go with JJ Redick.
Oh, nice. JJ Redick, that's a good pick. Guy can really shoot the ball. Certain 76ers team missed him a little bit, so they had to try to find his replacement next year in Seth Curry. And they All right, Ray, what's your view on this one?
Well, this is one of those where, I think Hawkeye, I think University of Iowa. So I did a little research. I had to do more research than I thought I was going to have to do. Who was the greatest Iowa Hawkeye basketball player, which translated into the NBA? There were very, very few to choose from. I was kind of flabbergasted. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
It was a struggle to find talented Hawkeyes in the NBA. I like B.J. Armstrong, and I loved him as a Bull, but he ain't going to be on a superhero team, right?
Okay.
There were some dudes like that. So it really came down to two, and I'll just throw both these names out there. Ricky Davis, and who, like Sean Livingston, played a long time in the NBA, in like limited roles, but played for a long time. But for his playing ability and then his coaching ability, I went with the Quad City's very own Don Nelson.
Ooh, so you're going with Don Nelson.
I'm going Don Nelson.
Don Nelson. So he was a shooter back in the day.
That's what the history book says.
Okay.
I didn't see myself.
I don't know. He played way before I was. I haven't seen him play. All right. Well, then
Get the Google machine.
I thought one of you guys would take it, but obviously Hawkeye, once again, very accurate. So I had the Splash Brothers both on my list, and I'm going to go with Klay Thompson because I like him a little more than Steph. And, of course, what'd they find out about Klay anyway? Is he all right?
Nope. He's out for the year.
Dang it. Actually, we're here. All right, Ray. So you have Iron Man. Now, Iron Man's an interesting one. Obviously, he finds a suit. He's a very intelligent man. Comes from builds is very tech savvy, as an understatement. So interesting to see where everyone went with the Iron Man.
Well, I mean, when I think Iron Man, I think of longevity and, most consecutive games played, like Cal Ripken was Iron Man, and before him was Lou Gehrig. Basketball's Iron Man, I was a little bit surprised to see this. Pick, you might know, he played for the Showtime Lakers.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
AC Green.
Oh.
AC Green is the NBA's Iron Man, and he will be my Iron Man in this this battle.
Yes, another Showtime Laker. Jake, do you even know AC Green?
I feel like I've heard the name, but
yes,
my short answer would be no.
He was one of those role guys, rebounded, play defense, ran the break. One of those glue guys, as they say. you know. All right. So my Iron Man, I went with, once again, I went with creativity on the court. Some of the things he did, really, you know, people hadn't seen besides seeing Magic. But this dude turned a franchise around for a while. Him, along with Chris Webber. I'm going with Jay Will for Iron Man for me. And Jake, Iron Man.
This is a tough one for me. So for me, when I think of Iron Man, it's like all the different, I guess, like characteristics, different things that he can do in his suit. So just thinking of different tools that a player has,
Mm-hmm.
for me, that would be Giannis, just because he can do so much and he's so versatile. I feel like
Solid.
Iron Man is
I like
pretty
it.
versatile superhero.
All right. And
Luck spelling that last name.
and there for a while I knew how to spell it. And
I think is it an E? There you go. Okay.
something like that.
Hey, it looks good.
Kumpa.
That looks good to me.
All right. So that goes to me, right, for Thor. And now I'm thinking of Thor, obviously a god. So I'm thinking of a good body. Actually, like I said, LeBron was my number one pick for him. Just someone who has that body to fill out and be kind of a Greek, not a Greek god, but any type of god. So I'm going to go with Zion Williamson on this one.
That's a good pick there.
Thank you. All right. Wait. Oh, I skipped. I'm sorry. So let's go back to Captain America because I, for some reason, was so excited to go with Thor. So, all right. So, Jake, Thor for you.
Thor for me, because I'm on your podcast, I got to show some love to the you here. And Myers Leonard, isn't his nickname Thor? Like, don't they call him Thor when he dunks Thor's hammer or something like that? I feel like he has some sort of relationship with the superhero Thor. So I'm going with Myers Leonard.
Nice. Nice. That sounds like him.
I like the pick too, yeah.
That sounds like him. I wish he'd play more, but he just hadn't found a way. I thought he'd be able to get in a rotation somewhere. Just hasn't worked out for him yet. Ray, who's your Thor?
Well, the only dude I had written down was LeBron, and of course he's off the board, so I'm scrambling a little bit. And a name on my list here as a backup somewhere else. I don't think he's up there yet. Karl Malone. We got the mailman yet?
Nope.
Quite the physique back in the day.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, he did. How about him on the old Michael Jordan thing? Man, they just after that he just didn't answer questions, and then the follow-up shows and stuff just kind of ripped on that dude. And he is not a good dude.
I didn't catch that part of it. What I guess I took away from that series with Karl Malone is he was a gamer, man. He, what was it? He was like 20 for 22 one game or something. I mean, like he could take over a game and he was money.
Yeah. Oh, he was, but just yeah, off the court, some things. Okay, so now we'll go back up to Captain America. Jake, you will lead us in your Captain America.
I'm going to go with the leader or the captain of the Players Association right now in Chris Paul.
Well done. Dang it. I had a good place for Chris Paul, but I like that pick. Yes. Chris Paul it is for Captain America. How's he going to fit into the Suns, by the way?
I think that he'll be good. If Harden goes to the Nets, I don't think that any of it's going to matter.
Yeah, but Harden, once again, Harden and Kyrie, who's not going to have the ball in their hand? And KD was, man.
Right. Yeah.
I will see. That's an interesting thing, but yeah, I don't know well, it's a good fit for Harden. Anyway,
right.
Captain America, Ray.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Captain America, he was in the armed forces, right? And then through some sequence of events, got his strength and Was he in the Army of some sort or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went with someone who served in a different branch of the armed services, the admiral from the Navy, who I think he could be America's favorite athlete type guy, David Robinson.
That's who I had. Oh man. I'm all right. That was my number one pick. So I did have a backup for this one. For Captain America, and once again, a guy that I felt like was a leader. Players played with him, followed him, and seemed to do was a good guy. I didn't hear anything bad about him. I went with Grant Hill for Captain America. Ray, Wolverine.
Well, if I chose a Hawkeye for the position Hawkeye, I'm going to pick a Wolverine for the position of Wolverine.
Right.
And I think this dude fits in as a superhero type during his prime. I'm going Chris Webber.
Chris Webber. Hey, Jake, we should have reached out to old Donnie. Would Donnie been good at this one?
Oh yeah.
I thought about it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. My Wolverine, once again, guy that, lived on the edge, was very edgy in his play, had very quick hands. So if the ball was out in front of him, he took them. Once again, probably one of my top players ever. And I'm talking about the glove, Gary Payton for Wolverine. Senior, by the way. All right. And Jake, Wolverine.
I'm going to go with one of the best slashers in the history of the NBA in Dwayne Wade.
D. Wade.
I like what you did there. Slashing. And
Slasher, that's right. You got to get that
good.
in there.
Dwayne. I'd have to go back.
He's playing the game like I play the game now. I like it.
Wade. Oh my gosh. I've lost it. Okay, there you go. All right. I was good. Obviously, his nickname's the Flash. He's a solid Wolverine, but he is called the Flash as well. But I like him. I was not going to put him at the Flash. So
well, that was strategic too, to pick him like 4 rounds before Flash. That way, if you guys had him for Flash,
there you go. There you go.
It wasn't going to happen.
Who started that round? I forget already. Was that me?
I did.
Okay. All right. So Ant-Man. So this one, once again, tried to go, Ant-Man's a guy, a normal guy, Paul Rudd, by the way, but anyway, so, he can go, when Ant-Man went small and dominated, actually was more dominant as a small player than when he was really big. So I went with someone who maybe was undersized, but just played bigger than what his height was. And I went with Charles Barkley for my Ant-Man. Whoa. All right, Jake, who you got?
For me, I'm going to go with sort of that same alley as you, as somebody who played bigger than their size. Was definitely smaller than Charles Barkley and Allen Iverson.
Yeah, he was my number 2 guy. Yep, good. I agree with that. All right, AI. And Ray.
Well, I went with someone who has the nickname Ant-Man and just became an NBA basketball player yesterday. I'm going with Anthony Edwards.
Dang it. Look at you. I told you. Doing work, son. All right. All right. We're under a minute. So I will send another, because the Gym Teacher Dreams podcast has not made enough money to be able to upgrade to pro. So I'm going to send you another link to start over again.
Okay.
Whoops.